I'm not signing young artists until the young artist generates their interest.
I also want to work with artists who are like-minded and who also don't want to have like a quick success, but want to be there for long term.
To approach your career without social media, for this you really need to have a lot of trust in what you do.
I'm Alma and I am a booking agent, and I'm also a mentor, and I teach people to become agents. The upcoming artists mostly expect that the agent does the magic. So they would come to us and think we can provide them all the gigs, and we can also give them the fame or the sustainable career they're seeking for. My question back is, if I look at their profile or if I look at them as a person, would be very personal. Like, okay, who are you and what do you have to give and what is working well for you and where is your downside? Like, what are you struggling with? And that would almost be too psychological for them. But if you are in my position, this is what I need to know. I need to tickle the actual person out, the personality out, to find out if there's really potential that this artist carries other people on their path.
My name is Markus Schulz-Bethlich. I'm an artist manager. I work with artists like Amelie Lenz, Pam Pot. We now work with Chris Luno, Annette Vardanyan, and Pretty Pink. Music today is only one kind of content, so to say, if I'm going to speak like in the creator words. And nowadays we have like visual content, you have nearly close to influencer-ish content that DJs do, that they also try to do. Like I work with Chris Luno and he started just to do mixes on YouTube during the pandemic just because he loves it. He's a great DJ and he's also like a music lover, producer and digger, but he just started to do this DJ sets. And that's what made him big at the beginning. So he didn't need any release. It doesn't always have to be only the music or even only DJ gigs. It can be like really living the same lifestyle as other people and being able to allow them to take part in your life.
I think nowadays it's more about the experience and less about actually what you produce. I mean, you can make it if you have a hit record, and then you can live off that record for decades. Or just be an artist that performs and communicates the performance in an experience. And I think this is what most people want right now. And that's also why we think, why is that artist so big on social media? It's probably because there's a uniqueness and there's something other people feel entertained about. And also they identify with it. I think that's a very big thing. Before, you did not have to identify so much with someone. You could listen to the music and whatever else was not important. Nowadays, there is so much more around the artist that needs to be ticked off to make it more visible.
My name is Cecilia Tosh. I'm a DJ, music producer and curator. I have to admit I had my issues with social media, also because I didn't feel like selling myself and I didn't know if I would want to jump on the train, it would feel completely fake doing this because I don't know, it wasn't my medium, let's say. But I always saw that there's a quality or also like a chance to actually communicate your very own artistic vision and also to share your music and to give the audience a bit of context. So I think it's not really about sharing any output, but really more finding your own language and way of communicating with your audience.
I think as long as you're authentic, that's a good thing. And it doesn't matter then what kind of music release, where you do it, as long as you're an authentic artist.
All the artists that I know that made it big, basically at the beginning it was them being very raw, and this was picked up by people that saw the potential in that rawness. I think the uniqueness comes also from letting loose and be, it sounds so flat, but be yourself and be maybe also funny. Like, since everybody's so driven and eager to make a career, a lot of people forget the fun with doing it. But if you look at what the people like the most, is people that show the fun with their music. And I think that is super important. I mean, there's also a scene where you can be very serious and you can be very experimental, but you need to take the risk of showing this identity.
If you start, it's very easy. You go out, you release some tracks, maybe on your own label, maybe on some smaller labels, but as soon as it grows, I think you will need a team around you. And that can be an artist manager with experience, but it can also be other people. At the end, you will have things to coordinate. You know, you have record labels, you have touring, booking agent, marketing, merchandise, PR, and all of these things have to be put together. And then it's important to have somebody who can help you doing all of this.
I think a lot of artists are just taking the advice from everyone and they try to do their homework very well. And so they go around and they ask everybody what they think, and then they tick all the boxes and they think like, okay, now it's gonna work, and then it doesn't work. You have to own it, you have to have a vision, and then go through that and own it and communicate it and find a team around you. Because I think even if you have a peering from friends or professionals that help you, that can still manage to give your career a boost. But then you have to be the one knowing what you want to tell them, because they should actually follow your rules or your setting or your vision.
When you start this career, when you aim to get a famous DJ, then you have a certain picture in mind how this looks. But then once you're actually on this path and you made your first experiences, then it might also be healthy to actually hold on for a second, tune in and see, okay, this is how it actually looks like at this point. Do I still aim for this goal? Or what is nowadays like? Is there any other interest to me what I might also want to give more space to actually find your own unique way of building your profile? And this might also lead to a reshifting of the focus instead of this, okay, just the purely DJing, to actually really finding ways of combining your interests to form your really unique way of approaching this and building your path.
I think it's better and healthy for an artist to grow very slowly and constantly, also mentally, than having like hits, for example. I'm not a big fan of hits at all. Actually, I try to avoid it. When we work with Amelie Lenz, for example, I always try to even get things to grow slower. For me, it was all too fast, so I always try to pull the brake a little bit and make it slower. For example, we had like a big magazine who wanted to do a cover, and I said no 3 times. So we decided to not do the cover for 3 years. Until I was like, okay, now Amelie's ready, and now we can look into that stuff. Same as the Essential Mix. We said no for a lot of times. I think it's like, that's where maybe like an artist manager with the experience makes sense, because maybe like a young artist say, oh yeah, there's an opportunity, I'm gonna take it. But somebody with more experience would say, no, let's wait, we have time. You wanna be there for 10 or 20 years, not just 3 years. So sometimes an artist manager there can make sense. But then on the other side, of course, there's managers that are gonna take it all and wanna have like a quick growth and quick success, which also can work, but it's not the way how I wanna work, for example.
When I got asked by Little Big, I checked the agency, like if I want to join the roster. And I actually got a bit nervous, because I was like, wait a second, when I'm now joining this agency, does this mean I have to play every gig? I have to play every weekend 3 times? You know, so I was actually more afraid of getting super success, not afraid of the success, but afraid of flying around the whole month, not being at home. So I really, in this interview with Kevin from Little Big at this point, I was really coming with this catalog of questions because I was afraid that now, this acceptance would mean that I have to travel so much the whole time and stuff. But I then realized, hey, they just want to support me in the way what I want to achieve. So it's actually, they really could take my anxieties.
Nowadays, the artists become more and more a brand identity themselves. So what makes them more than just an artist in their own little neighborhood is that they have either an ecosystem themselves, like their own friends and the people that like their music. So they have it starts, I think, with their own little crowd. And it starts with if they are really envisioning something and they own what they do and they can communicate that, then other people can actually resonate with it or identify and say, okay, this is super nice, I want to be a part of this. And I think that's how it works.